Okay, we are live and hello and welcome to the post-match show. And obviously today the match was between Sunrisers Hyderabad and the defending champions, Royal Challengers Bengaluru. But unfortunately, our Royal Challengers Bengaluru lost the game. But still, they did. Yeah, it didn't matter as to you can feel the heat. Yes, but yes, RCB still remain at the top, and they will play the qualifier one against GT. So it's a normal day for RCB, still at the top. And yeah, it's nothing new for them, especially he's saying. But yeah, I think a good win for Hyderabad at least. They are finishing the league stage with a win over the defending champions, a confidence boosting one. And now all the three teams is RCB, SRH, and GT are finishing the league stage with 18 points each after playing 14 games. But that doesn't matter absolutely, as Trishan is showing. So ultimately now the qualifier one will be between RCB and GT, and the second call and the eliminator will be played between SRH and the one team they which are yet to be qualified, because that one spot for the playoff is yet to be grabbed. So let's see what happens there. But before that, Trishadi, I know that as you're showing that it doesn't matter. That 55 run loss doesn't matter at all. But do you think RCB played very sensibly, because the ultimate aim was to seal that top two slot, right? To play that qualifier one. Because if we see the the chase, obviously 256 run chase, what a mammoth one. It was Hercules starts. But I think they had a brilliant start, courtesy of Venkatesh. I think he was batting brilliantly. But after he got out, and obviously Kohli was little bit struggling also. He also got out early. But after that, what we saw that the intent was gone. But they were like, okay, let's make sure we score that 165 run mark fast, and then the 180 run mark, so that we can seal that top two spot and the top spot as well. So do you think it was a very sensible approach from RCB?
I thought they did not initially start off that way. They went for the chase, which is what I liked more. They went for the chase, and then when they saw that they are way behind, they then did not want to take the risk. So it was between Krunal and Rajat that they decided, look, let's cross the 165, then the 180 odd, and then we can see where this game goes. But I would have been disappointed in RCB if they had tried to do that from ball one. But the
Mm.
clear message with Venki Iyer playing the way he was, that RCB did want to go for that 255. I think had Virat Kohli got a start from the other end,
Yes.
uh, RCB would have gotten for the score. Again, shows the maturity in the team. Because um, if RCB had still gone for 255, there could be chances of them losing a number of wickets and
Yes.
ending up less than 180, which would have cost them a qualifier one spot unnecessarily. That too,
Yeah.
so I think that way it was brilliant, and this is what has changed in RCB. The maturity has
Mm.
changed. Performance, of course, is there, but also along with that, that maturity and probably that arrogance has come down a little. You want to win, but you also want to use your brain. You just don't want to go and get crazy about it. Once your opponent has scored 255, if there is anything at all that concerns me, it's RCB's bowling. The batting
Yes.
actually doesn't. So yes, overall, as I said, we are still number one.
Yes, but as you mentioned, I think the bowling had a very off day today. I think every bowlers were taken apart. I think excellent pitch, you have to say that, but I think they're batters. We know in this kind of track, SRH batters are like gold dust. I think when they are in form, they
But
can,
it's SRH's home game, right? So they will
yes.
prepare a batting pitch because that's
Yes,
the
yes,
only thing that
absolutely. And
SRH
I think this has been the typical SRH template, especially in Hyderabad. That,
But that's their team, Snehashi. So at home
exactly.
turf, they will create highways.
Yes,
There's
yes,
no way that
absolutely.
I was
Absolutely.
disappointed that RCB bowlers did not um, come with plan CD, was not mixing up the
Yeah.
pace well. And I thought that way too many slower bouncers were being bowled. Like bowl
Mm.
a bouncer, proper bouncer, and bowl a proper slower. Stop bowling. At one point, I was like, stop bowling slower bouncers. Everyone knows slower bouncers are coming up.
Mm.
That was a problem. I thought the line and length to Ishan Kishan was extremely predictable. They did not
Yeah.
change it. So yes, the pitch is one thing, but the other part also is I am disappointed with the way the RCB bowlers bowled.
Absolutely, and it is quite understandable because the way RCB bowlers have performed so far in the
Yeah,
tournament, you expect that they can come up with better plans, despite
especially when you are
you know.
getting to the business end.
Exactly, exactly. Because ultimately the momentum, the confidence matters when you're entering the playoffs. So I think in that case, maybe the bowlers, the way the bowlers perform, I think that will be a little bit concerning. But let's see what happens because ultimately in a qualifier game on that particular day it matters. Whoever perform
Yeah.
well, I think then that matters at all. Okay, Bharat has also joined. Bharat, I was talking to Trishade about that. You know, if you see the chase of RCB, obviously chasing 256 was a mammoth task, but do you think they took the chase very sensibly to ensure the top two spot and then top spot?
Yes, if initially it seemed as if for the first 7 8 overs, first 6 overs, 7 or 8 overs, it seemed as if RCB were looking to chase down 256. After
Mm.
that, obviously, there is a blackout here anyway, due to heavy rains. Anyway, coming back to this match, it seemed as if I think there must have been a lot of slower balls in between from the Sunrisers Hyderabad. It seemed as if the pitch had kind of slowed down, and the Sunrisers Hyderabad have the required paces who can effectively use those slower ones. And I think that is when RCB would have understood that it is better off to just kind of look to get past that score of 166. And then obviously they also got past that score of 178 and ended up at 200. So they did it sensibly. But in the first 6 odd overs, when I
Yeah, the intent was there.
if they were looking to chase down the target, but they somewhere understood that it's better to look for the qualified one spot.
Absolutely. And Bharat, before you came, we were talking about the bowling of RCB. RCB bowlers had a very off day, obviously 256 runs on the board by SRH. But as you mentioned, SRH bowlers also bowl those, slower deliveries that proved, effective, especially in throughout the innings. But when it comes to the RCB bowlers, they also tried to bowl those slower deliveries, but they didn't come up with the preferable results. So what was the main difference in the execution or the pitch changed a bit in the second innings? What do you
It
think?
could be skill part as well. See, I think I really like what Saqib Hussain does with the
Yeah.
ball in hand, especially when he bowls at cutters. He seems to have a very deceptive action. It could be because of his fast arm action. It could be because of his hyper extension, a little bit of hyper extension. It could be because he bowls from a slightly wider release. So all these pointers, I think, help him to bowl those slower ones really well. And Isan Malinga also is very good at it. So I would say it's also skill part. Yes, execution part also is there because we expect someone like Bhuvaneshwar Kumar to bowl those slower balls well. But on the given day, SRH I think were much better. Actually, right through this IPL, you can say that SRH have been the kings of slower deliveries because others as well. Someone like Pat Cummins has bowled those into the pitch slower ones. In between, obviously Harshal Patel, whenever he's played, you would see slower ones from him as well. I think SRH have that advantage in that sense, but unfortunately, going forward, they may not get that kind of a pitch where they would use all those slow deliveries.
Yes, absolutely. Trishadi Venkatesh Iyer, I think he has been impressive. Whatever opportunities he has managed so far, I think he has been impressive. Especially, I think that knock when Rajat Patidar was not there at number four, he played that
Yeah.
brilliant knock. And today also, whenever given an opportunity, that top because Jacob Battle was given the opportunity, but he didn't perform. And obviously, because of the finger injury, what we got to know that he didn't play this game. But at the top, he did the job. He gave that perfect start, that blistering start. But in the next match, it is expected that the field salt will come back, will make a comeback. It is expected that because he
Please.
has joined the squad. Yes, please. I can understand the request from an RCB fan. But why do you see Venkatesh in the lineup? Then do you see any players that where can
Why
they
not in
can
the
use
middle? Let
Venkatesh?
him bowl 2 overs. I mean, if Romario Shepherd can bowl those horrible overs, then I'm sure Venkatesh Iyer can also, roll his arm over and probably bowl 2 overs between Romario Shepherd and Venkatesh Iyer, a personal competition between RCB boys to see who gives less number of runs, and does anyone by any chance, by mistake, pick up a wicket or something of that sort. But I think the kind of form and confidence that Venkatesh Iyer has displayed, it's extremely important that RCB backs him. At the same time, if Phil Salt is back and you have your batting lineup settled, I don't know how much will RCB be able to, get him to play. Yes, one option could be if you play both Jacob Duffy and Josh Hazelwood, then Phil Salt and of course Tim David. Then there is an option that you can get in Venki Iyer. But I do think that probably they will still go for Romario Shepherd. Probably.
Yeah, that has been the the trend that we have seen so far with the team. So yeah, but Bharat Venkaya, I think that over against Shivam Kumar, I think he was brilliant. Those back foot punches and straight down the ground, I have never seen those kind of shots. So what is your view on that? Mute.
Those long levers really well, first of all.
Yeah.
Secondly, yes, he uses the depth of the crease quite well too. So yes, he's a good player of spin, especially when the ball comes on the bat. Obviously, as the innings progress, perhaps into the pitch slower ones kind of came into existence, and the pitch slowed down a little bit. But up front, I think Venkatesh Iyer is a very good player, and is someone who has that kind of flair. We have seen it in domestic cricket, not just in the world of IPL. When he's played list A cricket, when he's played T20 cricket, even for Madhya Pradesh, one has seen this kind of shots. So I'm not very surprised by it. He's someone who has that kind of, what can I say, bit of Caribbean flair in his batting.
Absolutely. Tushadi, Ishan Kishan just few days ago got back in the ODI setup for India, and what a knock today again. I think it has been one of the best IPL season definitely for Ishan Kishan, no doubt about that. The way he has batted, and initially in the absence of Pat Cummins, the way he led the team, because otherwise this team would not have ended in the playoff spot if he would not have led the team so much well at the start of the tournament. So overall, his campaign so far, and especially today's knock, Tushar.
Yeah, I did not like today's knock. Maybe some other opponent, sure. No, but on a more serious note, I think he was brilliant today. Clean hitting. Uh, and also, the good part is it's calculated hitting. It's not like he's just randomly going after the bowlers. He has seen which side is longer, though he has enough power to clear any boundary. There's no doubt about it. But he's choosing the balls well. He's choosing the areas where to hit. I think it is Ishan Kishan at his very best. Have seen him perform well. In fact, I my first day as a scorer was an exhibition match, which was in Mumbai. It was road safety some game, and Ishan Kishan was hadn't made his India debut. Was just
Okay.
in the Mumbai cricket circuit, and he was batting. He scored a century. He was brilliant. He was hitting every ball out of the park there. Another interesting thing, that match, I was scoring, and beside me, the commentator was now who is the Indian women's team head coach, Amol Mazumdar.
Oh.
So it was a brilliant match, and I have always said this, that from there I have seen how good Ishan Kishan is. What is the potential when it comes to power hitting, the batting, his shots, and he can play all around the ground. It's not like there's specific areas that he needs to, target. So. Ishan Kishan is at his very best, and somewhere I feel the Jharkhand captaincy and then the Hyderabad captaincy has actually
Mhm.
made him perform much better.
Yeah. Yes,
Well said, a line
absolutely.
on it, Ishan Kishan. I think he's improved his game through the offside. There was a time, perhaps there was a thinking school of thought that is not so good on the offside. He must have done some work on his grip. That is the school of thought, even among the experts, that he has kind of worked on his grip. It is something for Rishabh Pant to look at as well. I think he has a problem with his grip. It feels as if his bottom hand is somewhere not in sync with his top hand when he plays when he tries to play shots to the offside. So I think a lot of credit has to go to Ishan Kishan because I don't think he was this good through the offside at one point of time.
Yes, absolutely. Bharat, now I have a very tricky question for you. Do you also think like me that every day, after every IPL game, Heinrich Klaasen has 50-60 missed call from South Africa board to reverse the retirement call? Because South Africa women team has been doing that. They have been kind of calling back their legends for the World Cup. So why not the main team can do? I think he deserves. You need someone like Heinrich Klaasen for that World Cup. He has been brilliant so far in this season.
Oh, that is obviously on a light-hearted note. How I
Yeah.
honestly don't know what is happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
See, Heinrich Klaasen obviously has to get into that South African setup. If you just look at it on the basis of merit, if you look at it on the
Mm.
basis of him being a power hitter, a very good player of spin, also pretty good player of pace bowling as well. Even if you consider the fact that South Africa have enough talent in T20 cricket, Heinrich
Mm.
Klaasen will still get in into their best playing 11. It's for the South African
Yeah.
setup to just pick up a phone, whoever it is, a selector, a
Yes,
director,
absolutely.
or the coach, or whoever it is, just pick up the phone, call class, and tell, yes, just make a comeback. This is the time to make a comeback, not just in the T20 squad, but also obviously you just come back in the South African setup with the 2027 World Cup around the corner.
Absolutely. South Africa women team has been doing this thing. They are pro now in that case. So now I think it's time for the South African main team also to do the same. Okay, last question. Tushadip, I think with if you see, RCB versus GT, the qualifier one, it is going to happen. Now, as an RCB fan, how do you think this game? Because GT has been one of the consistent team. I think before the season, nobody expected them to be that much of consistent, but they did that. I think as a whole unit, they have performed. So how do you say?
Where are they in the points table?
Second.
That's your answer. They have been consistent. They have been doing well.
Okay.
Where are they in the points table? They are still.
Okay.
No, on a more
Okay.
serious note, I think GT has been one of the most consistent teams ever since they have been part of IPL. They have been absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic, and especially with Shubman Gill, Sai Sudarshan performing. To be fair, I always thought GT's batting unit has not been that great, but the way the team has performed is brilliant. They have a very good bowling unit as well, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. All I would hope and pray, Snehashish, is it's not a highway. I don't want to see the knockouts going to 250. Whether we win or lose, it does not matter. Even if
Yeah.
RCB wins after scoring a 250, it's just that 250 in a 20-over game seems like we are playing a video game and just is
Yeah.
very ugh, kind of a feeling. 200, 210, I'm still okay with
Yeah.
it. 250 is just bit much. So I think that way, um, it's going to be a fantastic game. RCB has been in top form, and so has GT. It is very difficult to really differentiate between the two teams here standing. So, while RCB, of course, are the firm favorites as far as I'm concerned, but the GT game will be extremely tough, especially if you see the RCB bowlers' forms and then think about GT batters. I think that battle will be extremely significant, and
Mhm.
that is what is going to define the whole match. RCB, of course, would want to win, the qualifier one and straight up go to the final and sit. As far as GT is concerned, maybe better luck next time.
Yes. Maybe in the
Just adding a
qualified
line,
you can do well.
just adding a line to it. See, if GT somehow qualify for the final, then I think it's going to be
Oh
difficult to
yes, in
beat
Ahmedabad.
them at the great Narendra Modi Stadium. This is just on a
Yeah.
light-hearted note. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
see, at that stadium with
Because
all
they
those
have been super dominant at that stadium.
all
There's
those
no
tall
doubt
fast
about
bowlers, if they again leave a little bit of grass cover, obviously it depends on the curator, but if the curator again leaves a little bit of grass cover with all those tall fast bowlers, they have a very traditional pace attack. Whoever comes to the final, I guess Gujarat Titans had their stadium. I think it's going to be
Hmm.
difficult. It's just
It's
a
going
case
to.
Gujarat Titans to somehow get into that final.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, last question for you, Bharat. I think, as you mentioned, Shakib Hussain has been brilliant so far with his slowest ball and variations. But what about Ehsan Malinga? I think he has been brilliant. The way he has been performing last year also and today also, despite having a poor start to the tournament, but the consistency that he has shown, I think it has been super.
Yeah, this is something on an overall basis at a macro level. I'm telling, I somehow get surprised that Sri Lankan Pacers they somehow do better in the world of IPL. I'm talking about the current.
Absolutely.
I'm
Mhm.
talking about the current Sri Lankan Pacers, not our great Lasit Malinga. The current Sri
Mhm.
Lankan Pacers seem to do better in the world of IPL landscape, and Isan Malinga is no different. Yes, he's a pretty good seamer, modern day quintessential seamer, I would say, because he uses those slower ones really well, and he has that deceptive pace about him. Maybe I think he snaps his wrist quite well because he has a good deceptive short ball. And yes, I think that's what helps him to ball at around 140 kilometers per hour whenever he needs it. So he has that deceptive pace, his good control, and obviously he has the slower ones. And finally, he also generates what can I say that contrast swing. Obviously, some would call it as reverse swing, but scientifically, that kind of contrast swing that he generates in the slog overs. I think in these conditions, especially the kind of conditions that Hyderabad have played at their home ground in Hyderabad,
Mhm.
I think is the basically the perfect bowler for those clients. So it doesn't really surprise me, but interesting to see how he bowls up north or at the Narendra Modi Stadium if he gets a chance to bowl there. Because those conditions are slightly different to what you would see in Hyderabad. We saw what happened to even Malinga when he played at the Narendra Modi Stadium. He was not so
Mhm.
effective on a
Mhm.
traditional wicket with a little bit of grass cover. So I think that's the one interesting point I would look forward to. Otherwise, in these climbs, when it's gripping ever so slightly, even if it's gripping ever so slightly, I think he's a very, very good bowler.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, thank you, Trishati. Thank you, Bharat, for joining in. Thank you, everyone, who have joined with us. And obviously, the IPL coverage continues. Tomorrow also we'll be back. We'll be back with the pre and post match show. And for all the other latest updates regarding sports, please keep an eye on Red Sports and please like, share, and subscribe the channel. Till then, take care and good night. Thank you.
And also thank